The Owen James Report is brought to you by
This program is brought to you by the Grace Kennedy Group. We choose to care. Grace Kennedy Money Services has been here for you and your family, here and abroad, because we understand that you're receiving more than money. You're receiving their love. Grace Kennedy Financial Group has been here for you because we know it's more than just investments, insurance, or banking. It's about security and creating a path to realizing your dreams. For 90 years, honesty, integrity, and trust. The Grace Kennedy Group, we choose to care.
Good evening. This is the Owen James Report. Private sector leaders have largely been non-committal in respect of any reaction to Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller's speech last night, a speech which made only a brief reference to the vital and current negotiations with the IMF.
We are committed to pursuing sound macroeconomic policies, not as a condition imposed by the International Monetary Fund, but as the only way out of our economic underdevelopment. We know that economic growth requires economic discipline, and we are prepared to exercise that discipline in the interest of our people.
Intelligence gleaned by the OJR indicates that the relative private sector non-responsiveness on the Prime Minister's presentation stems from the fact that key sector leaders, including the PSOJ, the JMA and Chamber of Commerce, have been holding sensitive behind-the-scenes discussions with key cabinet ministers and technocrats in order to assist the process of an IMF agreement as soon as possible. One key big business private sector leader who spoke to the OJR on condition of anonymity emphasized that during these private meetings, the importance of getting an IMF agreement signed as soon as possible to avert danger was always emphasized. So it's a veritable quiet period marked by no sort of public advocacy from the private sector leadership. However, one sector leader, Professor Rosalie Hamilton, head of the small business lobby group, the MSME Alliance, says her membership was disappointed that the Prime Minister made no mention of the MSME and entrepreneurship policy promised in last year's budget. Professor Hamilton, briefly a former economic advisor to Mrs. Simpson-Miller during her first tenure as Prime Minister, said such a mention would have sent signals of confidence to the sector. News on the market now, and losses by a slew of key financial and manufacturing stocks triggered marginal declines in the Jamaican stock market indices. The main JC index fell by 268 points, or 0.3%. 28 stocks traded, with 8 advancing, 14 declining and 6 holding firm. In related news, NCB has advised the Jamaica Stock Exchange it's paying $15 million TT to acquire AIC Finance in Trinidad. Now, the deal, which is subject to regulatory approval in both Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago, is also subject to price adjustments based on AIC Finance's final audited financial statements. NCB Capital Markets is seeking a toehold in the lucrative Trinidadian market, hence the acquisition bid. Now finally, the three regularly traded foreign currencies weakened slightly against the Jamaican dollar. The benchmark American dollar slipped 1 cent Jamaican to close at an average selling rate of $93.06, whilst the Canadian dollar declined by 14 Jamaican cents to close at $94.30. Sterling fell by $1.45 Jamaican to close at an average selling rate of $149.73. That's the Owen James Report. Good evening.
The Owen James Report was brought to you by
Grace Kennedy. This program was brought to you by the Grace Kennedy Group. We choose to care.